Hey y'all, this is Destiny checking in with today's Daily Diamond. Hey family, as always, I would like to say welcome to anybody who is new and checking out my podcast. I thank you for the support. I have to also say sorry and apologize for not recording an episode in over a month. I do have to say though that life had been lifing, and you know when life is doing this thing, you have to let it just do it, and you have to kind of go along for the ride. But I'm really excited to be tapping back in today and coming back with another episode. I really want to talk about my most recent change and my most recent adjustment. And so for that reason, the title of today's episode is going to be What God Has for You. And so when we're talking about what God has for you, it is literally a constant reminder that we have to remember that everything that we are encountering, everything that we are dealing with is literally for us. I am a person that worries. I'm a person that is a doubter. And I always think that the worst is going to happen. And every single time here recently that I worried myself to death and stressed the hell out about something, things wound up being a whole lot different. Things literally wound up being just different. I had committed in August to doing a 10-day journal challenge, which I talked a lot about on my social media. And in that time, I continued my constant habit, my new formed habit of journaling every single day. And in my everyday journals, I would just say, Allah, I promise, God, I promise to submit to you. I promise to submit to do what you want me to do. I promise to do what you think is best and allow you to guide me. And so in that process, I kept saying over and over again that I was choosing to submit and that I would let God lead me in the way that he saw fit. And in that constant recursive doing it over and over process, I began to kind of pick up the mantra, like what God has for me is for me. And when you start to really, really pay attention and intently, purposely think about what God has for you, doors for you will begin to open. Things for you will begin to shift because you're not so concerned about the things that other people have going on, because the things that matter to you are the most important. And so during this time and during this process, I spent a lot of my time worrying about and planning for myself and worrying about and focusing on the things that were super important to me. And so I really had to, and I apologize for the pause. Y'all know I have children. But I really had to focus on myself, and I really had to focus on my goals, my dreams, and my own personal aspirations. And I had to allow the most negative component of my life at the time. I literally had to let it go. And so in letting the heaviest thing go that I had, God literally opened up doors. He opened up a door in a matter of a day, and then he opened up another door in the matter of a next day. And so I began to see very, very quickly that one, God hears us when we're praying and we're asking for things. Two, that what God has for us is for us. And then three, sometimes some of the stuff that you are dealing with that just doesn't sit right with your spirit, just doesn't sit right with your soul, that shit is getting in the way. It's getting in the way of the things that you want to accomplish. It's getting in the way that it's getting in the way of the blessings that you're supposed to get, because this heavy thing, whatever it is, it could be a job, it could be a relationship, it could be a person, it could be just whatever it is in your life that is negative. It is literally getting in the way and impeding you from literally living your best life. And I just think it's so crazy that as I began to say, like, all right, God, I promise I'm going to submit. I promise I'm going to do what you want me to do. I promise that I'm going to allow you to lead. And literally everything that I began to ask for came in one foul swoop. It didn't take 5 minutes. It didn't take 10 minutes. It was like literally thing after thing after thing after thing. And it was one of those things where I had to realize, like, damn, when I let go of something that I knew wasn't sitting right with my spirit, I got put in a situation in which things were better for me. And so it just made my life easier. And so I'm coming on here to say today, when God has something for you, that is literally the thing for you. You have to get out of your own way. You have to get those negative, uncomfortable things, those things that are not helping you grow, helping you blossom. You got to get rid of that shit. You are not crazy. You know what's negative in your life. You know what people are negative in your life. You know what environments are negative in your life. You know all of the things in your life and in your circle that are toxic as hell. And in order for you to grow and to glow, you've got to get rid of the toxicity. You've literally got to put yourself in a position where you submit to do God's will, one. And two, you surround yourself with peace and positivity. And so I've literally over the last 3 or 4 days put myself in a situation in which I'm happy all the way around. I've got some business connections going, and that my business has been super duper stalled. I wasn't sleeping and now I'm sleeping again. I literally was given everything that I had asked for in a multitude of different ways because I got rid of something so negative. And I started intently a month or so ago telling myself what God has for me is for me. I stopped worrying about why somebody else has something that I don't have, or why somebody else seems to be able to do things that I can't do. Because right now that's their journey and my journey is my journey. And so I literally got to only focus on myself. And so I'm challenging you today, this week, whatever day you listen to this episode, that remember that what God has for you is for you. And whatever your journey is literally your journey. There are going to be highs. There are going to be lows. There are going to be things in it that are just uncomfortable as hell. There are going to be moments that are sad as hell. But I really feel like I don't care what your faith or what your religion is. Like, as long as you believe that there is a higher power, you know that this person has some control over some of these things. Even when things are bad, there's a lesson to be learned. There's an experience to gain. Everything that you've gone through that has been bad is teaching you something. It's growing you in some space. And so be careful and conscientious of that stuff. And even when you're dealing with something negative, try to figure out what it is that you need to learn from that situation. How is it that negative, horrible ass situation will push and force you to grow? But I want you to remember in all of that literally what God has for you is for you. And you cannot worry about somebody else's plate. You need to worry about the food on your own plate. You need to focus on the things that are in front of you. You need to uncloud, declutter, like whatever the hell you want to call it. You need to do all of that to ensure that you can be the best version of you and that you can receive all the stuff that you're asking for. Because sometimes, and I know people have said it a million times before, we literally block our own blessings. If something is not sitting right with your spirit, address it. If something is not sitting right in your environment, address it and then move forward. And then let that stuff that was the past, let that shit be the past. Like, let it go so that you can be you, like you can be the better version of you. And so today I challenge you to remember that, like, what God has for me is for me, and I can't focus on anybody else. I'm not going to focus on anybody else. I am going to focus on growing and glowing and being the best version of myself with God at the forefront. And I don't care if you call him God or Jehovah, like I said, Allah, because I am, y'all know my faith. Whatever title you call God, like, just submit to do his will, one, and then two, remember that what he has for you is for you. And so that is my message for today. As always, make sure you guys check me out on social media at Destinies_Diamonds on Instagram, at Destinies Diamonds LLC on Facebook. I am the notebook planner, inspirational journal creator. I don't know what I am anymore, but I'm trying to live and work in my truth and be everything and use every gift that God gave me. I am excited to continue working, learning, growing, glowing, and healing. And this is Destiny signing out with today's Daily Diamond. I'll see you guys soon.